For Liam, being Ethan's shadow was second nature. When Ethan played basketball, Liam handed him water. When Ethan showered, Liam scrubbed his back. So when Liam needed a place to stay while studying for his second attempt at the LSAT, Ethan naturally offered up his family home. That evening, however, it was Ethan's older brother, Julian, who met him at the imposing front door, blocking his path. Julian's voice was low and devoid of warmth. He told Liam to stay away from his brother, explaining that their family needed someone to carry on the legacy. Liam was stunned, insisting it was all a misunderstanding. Unmoved, Julian lit a cigarette, the flame briefly illuminating his sharp features. He questioned if it was truly a misunderstanding. Then, with a chilling calmness, he proposed a solution to supervise them. From now on, Liam would share a room with him. Liam's bond with Ethan was forged in the crucible of university dorm life. For 4 years, they were inseparable. Ethan, the quintessential trust fund kid, was a study in contradictions. He was fastidious about personal hygiene but had never cleaned a room in his life. At first, their other 2 roommates scoffed at his entitled behavior. That ended the day Ethan transferred $500 to each of them. He apologized awkwardly, admitting his incompetence with chores, and offered to pay them a monthly cleaning fee. He even offered an extra $20 each time someone changed his sheets for him, which he requested every 3 days. In response, Liam and the others promptly created a chore schedule and began providing a suite of premium services, from fetching breakfast to saving him a seat in lectures. During one of their late-night study sessions, Liam had asked why someone with his resources would ever choose to live in a dorm instead of renting a luxury apartment with a cleaning service. Ethan had sighed, explaining it was his brother's idea of a character-building exercise. If he dared to move off campus, his allowance would be cut off. Curious, Liam asked how much his allowance was. Ethan paused, admitting he'd never really counted. His brother Julian simply deposited $15,000 into his account each month, and he asked for more when it ran out. Liam nearly fell out of his chair, then slid to the floor and theatrically grabbed Ethan's leg, proclaiming that from that day forward, Ethan was his true brother. Ethan was more than just generous. He was genuinely easygoing, aside from occasional flashes of privilege and a complete lack of self-sufficiency. Over time, Liam came to see him as a real friend and stopped accepting his money. Touched, Ethan began treating Liam to lavish late-night meals, always bringing back signature dishes from high-end restaurants. A comfortable harmony settled over their dorm suite, or so Liam thought. He discovered it was a one-sided perception the day Ethan was summoned home for a black-tie business dinner. After Ethan left, dressed in a tailored suit and fresh from an hour at a high-end salon, the other 2 roommates began to sneer. They mocked Ethan's posturing, calling him an idiot playing dress-up for a world he didn't understand. One remarked that Ethan was just lucky to be born rich, all money and no brains. The other agreed, boasting that if he had been born into that family, he wouldn't be so pathetic. Shocked, Liam found himself defending his friend, reminding them how well Ethan treated them. They looked at him with disdain, telling him to stop sucking up. They claimed they only tolerated Ethan for his money, and that Liam didn't have to act like a servant just because he was poor. A hot rage flared in Liam. He shot back, asking how many times they had borrowed money from Ethan with no intention of paying it back. He accused them of seeing Ethan as a walking ATM while he saw them as friends. They were stung by the truth and rose to their feet, ready for a fight, just as a sharp knock echoed from the half-open door. A man stood in the hallway, impeccably dressed in a suit that mirrored Ethan's. He shared Ethan's handsome features but carried himself with an intimidating stillness. His dark eyes were unreadable, his entire presence a stark contrast to Ethan's boisterous, golden retriever energy. He asked if this was Ethan's room, identifying himself as his brother. The two roommates fell silent, their bravado evaporating. Liam, after shooting them a venomous glare, confirmed it was. Julian asked where Ethan was. Liam informed him that he had just left 5 minutes ago. Julian's gaze lingered on Liam for a long moment before he gave a curt nod of thanks and departed. Ethan didn't return that night. The next morning, he burst into the room, beaming, and threw an arm around Liam's shoulders. He had incredible news. His brother had suddenly agreed to rent an apartment for him near campus. It took Liam a moment to realize that Julian had overheard the entire conversation the previous day but had chosen not to tell Ethan, opting instead to quietly remove his brother from a toxic environment. Liam felt a pang of envy for a sibling who cared so deeply. Ethan's good news continued. His brother had also suggested that Liam move in with him. The apartment had 2 bedrooms, and Ethan explained that Julian was probably worried about him skipping classes and wanted someone reliable to keep him in line. He added that Julian had been impressed by Liam during his brief visit. Liam, eager to escape the two-faced roommates, agreed without hesitation. They submitted the paperwork and began their life as off-campus roommates. Soon, whispers began to follow Liam around campus, labeling him a rich kid's hanger-on. He knew who was spreading the rumors but tried to ignore them. His life didn't depend on the opinions of others. Ethan, however, heard the gossip and was furious. He ended up in a fistfight with the main perpetrator. Liam, as an involved party, was called into the student conduct office. It was there that he saw Julian for the second time. The normally stern administrator seemed flustered in the presence of Julian's quiet authority. The administrator explained the situation, emphasizing that Ethan had thrown the first punch and the other student was now at the campus health center, his parents demanding action. Julian calmly interrupted, assuring the administrator that he appreciated their diligence. He stated that since it was a mutual fight, they would offer to cover 3 times the medical expenses out of goodwill, but there would be no apology. If the other party found this unacceptable, his lawyers would handle it from there, including a countersuit for slander and defamation. He assured the administrator that the university would not be negatively impacted. Ethan, his face bruised, followed his brother out of the office like a scolded puppy. But Julian's first words were directed at Liam. He asked if his name was Liam. Liam, startled, nodded vigorously. Ethan, despite his fear, stepped in front of Liam, trying to shield him. He told his brother that Liam had nothing to do with it. Julian's cold glance was enough to make Ethan shrink back, leaving Liam fully exposed. Liam swallowed hard, intimidated by the powerful aura Julian naturally projected. Julian seemed to be studying him, his gaze different from their first meeting, containing something Liam couldn't decipher. He commented that Liam and Ethan seemed very close. Ethan jumped in, boasting that Liam was the best friend he'd ever had, even helping him scrub his back in the shower. A faint frown creased Julian's brow. He questioned why they would shower together, why Ethan would let another man touch him. Ethan, oblivious to the undertone, laughed it off. He explained that after years of communal dorm bathrooms, showering together was nothing. He added that Liam was different. They were best friends. A strange, unreadable smile touched Julian's lips, sending a shiver down Liam's spine. Ethan, as if suddenly realizing the implication, raised his voice. He told his brother not to get any weird ideas. He wasn't like Julian, he liked girls. He later explained to Liam, with a conspiratorial excitement, that his brother was gay. He told Liam he could even Google Julian Shaw kisses male friend, though the old tabloid photos had likely been scrubbed from the internet. Then his expression turned serious. He assured Liam that while such things could be genetic, it wasn't a guarantee, and he was definitely straight. A look of worry crossed his face. He fretted that his brother now suspected their relationship was inappropriate and might not let them live together anymore. Liam's stomach dropped. He couldn't lose this life of air conditioning, a private bathroom, and the freedom to cook what he wanted. But he was living there for free in a place Julian paid for. He had no grounds to protest if he were kicked out. Ethan, struck by an idea, announced he had a solution. His solution was to get a girlfriend, and fast. Liam had assumed it was a random girl he'd picked to fool his brother. But the truth was Ethan had been crushing on her for a year and used this as the excuse he needed to finally ask her out. They dated until graduation, when the insurmountable distance and conflicting life plans led to a painful breakup. The night they broke up, Ethan dragged Liam out for drinks. Liam had to practically carry the sobbing mess of a man home. Ethan was drunk and heartbroken, weeping about how his girlfriend didn't believe he would really move to her hometown for her. The night ended with him vomiting and spiking a high fever. Liam had no choice but to call Julian. While trying to change Ethan out of his soiled clothes, Liam managed to get his shirt off when Ethan suddenly lunged, wrapping his arms tightly around him. He mumbled Liam's name, begging him not to leave. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just as Liam was pinned to the sofa, crushed under Ethan's dead weight, Julian walked through the door. Ethan was still whispering, "I love you, and don't leave me." Sweat beaded on Liam's forehead. He tried to tell Julian he was glad he was there, while simultaneously trying to clamp a hand over Ethan's mouth. But Ethan, with a sudden burst of drunken energy, thrashed, sending them both tumbling to the floor. Liam landed face first, his nose inches from Ethan's, the reek of alcohol making him gag. He pushed Ethan away and looked up to see Julian holding out a box of tissues. The humiliation was so intense that his foot cramped, the muscle seizing painfully. So there he sat, pathetically on the floor, grimacing and clutching his foot. Julian helped Ethan onto the sofa, then turned to Liam. Before Liam could wave him off, a subtle scent of sandalwood surrounded him, and he was lifted effortlessly into the air. He protested that he was fine, it was just a cramp, but Julian placed him gently on the other end of the sofa. Julian said he would take a look. Liam tried to refuse, but Julian took hold of his ankle, his fingers expertly finding the cramped toe and gently straightening it. After a sharp cry, the pain subsided. Liam flexed his foot, amazed. He thanked him. They spent the rest of the night at the hospital. Once Ethan was on an 4-drip and sleeping soundly, an awkward silence fell between Liam and Julian in the starkly lit room. Liam spoke first, explaining that Ethan was just upset about the breakup and asked Julian not to be too hard on him. Julian took a deep breath and agreed. After another long pause, he asked Liam about his plans after graduation. Liam explained his failure to get into law school and his intention to try again. Julian asked if he would study back home or stay here. Liam wanted to stay for the academic atmosphere. Julian correctly guessed he wasn't a local and would need to rent a place. Liam scratched his head, admitting he was looking but struggling to find an affordable single apartment near campus. The truth was he was broke. His tuition was covered by student loans, and he paid for living expenses by tutoring. The past few years of living with Ethan had been a significant financial relief. His family wanted him to get a job right after graduation and would not support his academic ambitions. A sigh escaped him as the weight of his situation settled in. Julian then told him that Ethan had mentioned wanting Liam to stay in their current apartment. Liam looked up and met Julian's probing gaze, feeling a jolt. Ethan was a truly good friend. But as moving as the offer was, He knew Julian was already suspicious of their relationship. With Ethan newly single, Liam couldn't add more fuel to the fire. He quickly refused, saying he had already told Ethan no and would find his own place. Julian nodded thoughtfully. He then asked if Liam minded living with other people. Liam, surprised, said he didn't. He wondered if this was Julian's way of helping him find a new place to put distance between him and Ethan. After a few more tense moments, Julian had a driver take Liam home first. Relieved, Liam escaped the heavy atmosphere. He didn't expect Ethan to return from the hospital a day later, vibrant and full of more good news. He told Liam to stop looking for an apartment. Julian had invited him to come live at their family home. Standing in the driveway of the downtown mansion, luggage in hand, Liam felt a fresh wave of awkwardness. Living in someone's home was different from sharing an off-campus apartment. But Ethan was enthusiastic, telling him not to worry. The house was usually empty. His father lived abroad, and Julian was always busy with work, sometimes gone for weeks at a time. Ethan's face fell slightly as he added that now that he was single, he could use the company. The thought that Julian was rarely home eased Liam's anxiety. Julian was only 5 years older, but he had the gravitas of a patriarch. It was fitting, as Julian had raised Ethan since their parents divorced and started new families when Ethan was in middle school. The vast house was cold and impersonal. The only family photo was a portrait of the two brothers. The housekeeper prepared dinner and left. As Ethan reached for 2 beers from the fridge, Liam stopped him, reminding him he was just out of the hospital. Ethan insisted he was fine, that it was a celebration of Liam moving in. As they argued, the sound of the front door opening silenced them. Julian was home. Ethan was surprised, asking his brother why he wasn't on his business trip. Julian's eyes flickered over the beers in Ethan's hand before settling on Liam, a soft smile gracing his lips. He said he had to be there to welcome his friend on his first day. Liam was flattered but inwardly groaned. He would have preferred Julian to stay busy and pretend he didn't exist. With Julian present, Ethan dutifully returned the beers to the fridge. The dinner was a feast, tailored to Liam's favorite dishes, which Ethan had relayed to the housekeeper. Ethan kept piling food onto Liam's plate: garlic shrimp, sweet and sour pork, eggplant parmesan. Liam ate happily until he glanced up and met Julian's eyes. It was that same intense, probing look from before. The food suddenly lost its flavor. He nervously asked Ethan to stop, saying he could serve himself. Ethan, oblivious to his brother's scrutiny, cheerfully continued. The meal was an ordeal. After dinner, Liam tried to escape to his room, which was conveniently located across the hall from Ethan's on the second floor. But Julian stopped him, asking him to come out for a talk. Under a dark, moonless sky, Liam followed Julian along a quiet, winding path through the exclusive neighborhood. When a decorative pond came into view, a flicker of fear ignited in his mind. Surely the head of the Shaw family wouldn't drown him in a pond just for suspecting he had an inappropriate relationship with his brother. He asked what Julian wanted to talk about. Julian stopped and turned to him. He commented on the shoes Liam was wearing, identifying them as last year's limited Ion Louis Vuitton collaboration. He asked if Ethan had bought them. Liam swallowed, admitting they were a birthday gift. Julian's gaze then drifted to the suitcase Liam had brought upstairs, noting it looked familiar. Liam quickly explained it was one of Ethan's old ones. Julian stated its price flatly, $15,000. Liam was staggered. He knew Ethan was wealthy, but he never imagined a suitcase could cost that much. In that moment, he understood the source of Julian's suspicion. From Julian's perspective, Liam was not just living off his brother, but also accepting extravagant gifts. Finally, Julian got to the point. He acknowledged their close friendship but stated that Ethan's level of concern for Liam went far beyond what he considered a normal platonic bond. Liam quickly interjected, reminding him that Ethan had a girlfriend, or at least he did, and was definitely not gay. "And you?" Julian's single question was like a scalpel, his predator-like gaze dissecting Liam's expression. "Have you dated anyone these past few years? Do you like men or women?" Liam's mouth fell open. He had no answer. He'd never been attracted to girls, but he'd never felt a romantic impulse toward a guy either. The question stumped him. A smirk played on Julian's lips as he pulled out a cigarette and a lighter. The jet of blue flame illuminated the deep pools of his eyes. The answer, he said, wasn't important. He just wanted Liam to remember one thing: not to have any inappropriate ideas about Ethan. He told him to stay as far away from him as possible, reminding him that the Shaw family was counting on Ethan to produce an heir. The mention of producing an heir made Liam's scalp tingle. He insisted again that Julian was mistaken, that his friendship with Ethan was purely platonic. Julian looked at him with a playfully skeptical expression and exhaled a plume of smoke. "Is it a misunderstanding?" he mused. "I consider myself a good judge of my own kind. How about this? To supervise you both, you'll sleep in my room from now on." Liam's jaw nearly unhinged. He argued that if anything were going to happen between him and Ethan, it would have happened during the years they lived together. Wasn't it a bit late for supervision? To his surprise, Julian laughed, a genuine, startling sound. It was the first time Liam had seen such a lively expression on his face. Realizing it was a joke, Liam felt a flush of embarrassment. He had half a mind to just leave, to give up the luxury and the meals. But it was Julian who had invited him here in the first place. The next moment, Julian did something even more surprising. He took a bank card from his pocket. Liam's mind raced, anticipating the classic line, "Here's 5 million, leave my brother." He briefly considered pretending he was in love with Ethan just to take the money and run. But Julian's words were different. He mentioned that Ethan had told him about Liam's part-time jobs. He suggested that if Liam was serious about law school, he should focus on studying. The card had $5,000 on it, with the pin being Ethan's birthday, and he could ask for more if he needed it. Liam hesitated, saying he couldn't accept the money after already imposing on their hospitality. Julian clarified that it was a loan, not a gift. He explained that a person's time and energy are finite. While working to support oneself was admirable, a smart person knows how to leverage available resources to their advantage. It was pure business logic. After a moment of consideration, Liam took the card. The past year of juggling work and studying had taken its toll. With only 5 months until the exam, he couldn't let pride stand in his way. He promised to work hard and pay him back. Julian's lips curved into a faint smile. He told him there was no hurry and that he could consider other ways of repaying the debt. Liam instinctively clutched his chest, asking what other ways he meant. He found out soon enough. One evening, both brothers were out at dinner engagements, leaving Liam alone in the house. Around 10, the doorbell rang. On the video intercom was a handsome young man who asked if Jules was home, introducing himself as a friend. Liam, assuming he was a friend of Julian's, told him he wasn't there and suggested he call. The man made a quick call, then held the phone up to the camera, saying Julian was on his way and asking to be let in to wait. Liam opened the door. The man's friendly demeanor vanished the moment he saw Liam in his pajamas. His eyes narrowed with suspicion as he demanded to know who Liam was and why he was living there. Liam immediately pieced together the situation. This had to be one of Julian's romantic interests. He quickly explained he was Ethan's classmate, just staying there temporarily. The man's expression softened instantly. He then launched into a long, one-sided conversation about his history with Julian. By the time Julian arrived, Liam knew how they had met and every detail of their last encounter. It was clear the man believed they were on the verge of becoming official. When Julian walked in, the man rushed to greet him, practically throwing himself at him. He complained that Julian hadn't been answering his texts and he thought he was being avoided. Liam gave Julian an awkward smile and tried to slip away to give them privacy. But Julian sidestepped the man's embrace and, inexplicably, said to Liam, "Don't get the wrong idea. There's nothing between us." The man's smile froze. Julian walked straight to Liam's side. "You have to believe me," he said, his voice, usually so commanding, now holding an almost pleading tone. "I've never done anything to betray you." Goosebumps erupted on Liam's skin. What was this sudden play acting? From an angle the other man couldn't see, Julian mouthed two words. "Help me." Help him with what? Getting rid of a suitor? The man, Evan, finally found his voice, pointing an accusing finger at Liam. "But you said you were Ethan's classmate." Liam's mind raced. Flight was the best defense. Thinking fast, he shoved Julian's hand away. "You bastard!" he yelled, channeling every soap opera he'd ever seen. "He tracked you all the way to your home. What else is there to explain? I don't want to hear another word you have to say." With that, he turned and stormed up the stairs. 30 minutes later, a text from Julian arrived. "Thank you. Debt reduced by 1,000. Liam had become Julian's human shield against unwanted admirers. A few days later, Julian knocked on his door late at night. Liam had just showered and, thinking it was Ethan, opened the door with only a towel wrapped around his waist. It was too late to close it when he saw who it was. For someone Ethan claimed was rarely home, Julian seemed to be there every single day since he'd moved in. Julian's eyes widened for a fraction of a second before he quickly averted his gaze. He said that while he was glad Liam felt at home, he would appreciate it if he respected his sexuality. Liam, mortified, stammered that he thought it was Ethan. Julian took a deep breath. "You need to be properly dressed in front of him, too. Get changed." Liam scrambled to put on a t-shirt and shorts. Only then did Julian enter the room. Liam stood awkwardly, tugging at the hem of his shirt. Julian got straight to the point. He had a party the next night and asked if Liam would accompany him. Liam pointed at himself, utterly bewildered. He accompanied Julian to a party? Before he could refuse, Julian added, "As my boyfriend." His eye twitched. Fending off suitors was one thing, but pretending to be his boyfriend at a party? He said it didn't feel appropriate. Julian, unfazed, replied that he knew it was a big ask, which was why this one favor would be worth 2,000 off his debt. It would only be for a short time, just to make an appearance. Liam's mind did a quick calculation. Sounded like a good deal. He asked what he needed to do. Julian smiled. "Just stay by my side. Eat, drink, and relax." That Liam could do. The next afternoon, Ethan was ecstatic when he heard the news. He insisted on helping Liam pick an outfit. A seemingly simple white t-shirt and jeans that were from brands Liam couldn't even pronounce. Ethan explained that Julian's friends would be there, including the persistent Evan, who still thought Liam was just a fling. He said Liam had to look good, to show that Julian was treating him well and that their relationship was serious. Liam was taken aback by how quickly Ethan had embraced his new role. Ethan just grinned, saying he had to get used to the idea of Liam being his sister-in-law to avoid blowing their cover. As he reached out to help Liam change, Julian walked in. Julian raised an eyebrow. Trying to undress your sister-in-law the moment your brother's not around? Is this how you're getting used to it? The words hung in the air, making both Ethan and Liam shiver. Julian glanced at the jeans on the sofa and placed a shopping bag on the coffee table. Throw out his ugly clothes. Go change into this. Upstairs, holding the bag, Liam felt a strange flutter. Was this Julian being good to him? It felt unnervingly like he was living out a cheesy romance novel. Julian drove them to the party. Liam instinctively opened the back door to sit with Ethan, but Julian looked back at him. Sit up front. Ethan was quicker on the uptake, shooing him toward the passenger seat and reminding him to remember his role. Liam slid into the front seat, hyper-aware of his status as the indebted houseguest. The venue was a private club with a hidden entrance behind a rock wall. As they walked in, Ethan nudged Liam toward his brother, whispering for him to be more affectionate. Julian simply took Liam's hand. The warmth of his large hand enveloping his sent a strange jolt through Liam's arm. He felt a blush creep up his neck, but Julian didn't even glance at him, simply murmuring, "Watch your step." The effortless confidence was terrifying. Liam swallowed hard, a growing suspicion that this was more complicated than he'd thought. He glanced back and saw Ethan grinning like an idiot. The private room was large, dominated by a massive round table where several people were already seated. They all rose to greet Julian, their eyes inevitably falling on his and Liam's intertwined hands. A ripple of surprise went through the room, and many cast surreptitious glances at Evan, who sat sullenly in his chair, his face a mask of dark fury. Someone joked that it had been a while and that Julian had been keeping secrets. Julian smiled faintly, replying that some things are best kept quiet until they're certain. He claimed Liam hadn't fully accepted him yet. The lie was so smooth, so eloquent. The table erupted in good-natured teasing, and Liam sat blushing between the two brothers, feeling like a prop. He focused on the food. Julian and Ethan worked in tandem, keeping his plate constantly full. Evan suddenly spoke up, his voice dripping with sarcasm. He asked Ethan if it was true that he and Liam were very close in college, that Liam had been his little follower, and that they had even lived together for years. The room went silent. Even Ethan, usually dense, caught the malicious intent. His brow furrowed. "What do you mean, follower? Liam's my best friend. And what business is it of yours if we were roommates?" Evan sneered. "So you did live together. Julian, are you sure you're not just keeping this guy close to stop him from turning your brother gay?" Liam felt a chill. The accusation was unnervingly close to Ethan's own initial theory. Ethan slammed his chopsticks down. "What the hell is wrong with you, Evan?" Julian, however, remained calm. He leaned back, regarding Evan with a cool, detached gaze. "You're right," he said softly. "But if I didn't like him, I would have no reason to pursue him. Wouldn't you agree?" Evan was speechless, his eyes welling up. The public admission seemed to hit him harder than seeing them holding hands. He stood up, his voice trembling. "Julian, you're just trying to hurt me. You can't possibly be serious about this broke kid. I know you want to get rid of me, but you don't have to humiliate me like this." Ethan exploded. "Keep your mouth shut. What do you mean, this kid? Liam is better looking and taller than you'll ever be." Liam grabbed Ethan's arm, trying to calm him down. But Julian moved, leaning back in his chair and fixing Evan with an icy stare. After a long moment, he spoke, his voice dangerously low. "You overestimate your importance. You have two choices. One, you apologize to Liam right now. Or two, you leave this party and never show your face at one of our gatherings again." Gasps rippled through the room. Evan stared in disbelief. Liam realized with dawning horror that Julian was using him as a weapon, a pretext to finally and permanently exile Evan. It was a brilliant move, painting Julian as a fiercely devoted partner. As Liam was marveling at the ruthless efficiency of it all, he missed the utterly shocked expression on Ethan's face. In the end, Evan choked down his pride, mumbled an apology, and fled the room. The party soon resumed its boisterous energy. Liam, full and sleepy, was zoning out when he felt Julian squeeze his hand under the table. "Don't take what he said to heart," Julian whispered. Liam, assuming he was referring to Evan's insults, assured him he didn't care. Julian's lips curved slightly. He leaned closer, his voice a low murmur in Liam's ear. "But please, consider what I said seriously." Liam spent the entire night wondering what Julian wanted him to consider. The next morning at 8, he came downstairs with dark circles under his eyes to find an equally exhausted-looking Ethan at the breakfast table. Ethan asked nervously if his brother had left for his morning meeting yet. When Liam confirmed he had, Ethan visibly relaxed. He then stared at Liam, opening and closing his mouth several times. "Just say it," Liam prompted. "Be honest with me," Ethan began. "You and my brother. It's fake, right? You're not for real?" Liam gave him a confused look. Ethan explained, "It's just, Evan has been harassing my brother for years. He even leaked those fake photos to the press. And Julian never, ever lost his temper like he did last night." He described how Julian's ultimatum to Evan was essentially a command for everyone at that table to cut ties with him. It was a social execution. The pieces started clicking into place in Liam's mind. Could Julian actually have feelings for him? He asked Ethan what his brother's type even was. Ethan looked lost, admitting that as far as he knew, Julian had never been in a real relationship. Then, a look of dawning horror, followed by dawning excitement, crossed Ethan's face. "Oh my God. You're handsome, you're quiet, you have a good personality. What gay guy wouldn't fall for you?" "Liam, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize my brother was a predator. But don't worry, I'll protect you." He paused, a new thought occurring to him. "Wait a minute, you don't like guys, do you?" He clutched his chest dramatically. "Oh God, you do, don't you? What about all those times we showered together? That counts as you being a rich guy doing charity work for his poor roommate," Liam deadpanned. He felt a sudden fear that this would change their friendship. But Ethan, ever resilient, had already processed it and moved on to a new, more exciting possibility. "Hey, but if you really did become my sister-in-law, that would be awesome. We could all hang out forever." Liam left the house in a daze. As he stepped outside, a black Maybach was waiting, the chauffeur holding the door open for him. It had been this way since he moved in. Julian had arranged a car to take him to and from campus, arguing it was a more efficient use of his study time. Looking back, it was also obvious. Ethan came out right behind him and, seeing the car, cheerfully announced he'd catch a ride to his office. The chauffeur politely informed him that Mr. Shaw had specifically instructed that he continue to ride a bike share to work for his physical fitness. Ethan's face fell. Julian was supposed to be away on business for a week. Liam thought he'd have time to think, but Julian bombarded him with dozens of texts a day, narrating every moment of his trip. If Liam took more than 30 minutes to reply, a Venmo request for $1,000 would appear on his phone. It was a brutally effective way to get a response. He never accepted the money. When Julian asked why, Liam joked that he was afraid of accruing interest on his existing debt. Julian immediately sent another request, this time with the note, a voluntary gift. Liam replied, "Thank you," and accepted it instantly. Julian's response was immediate. "You're welcome. I'm pursuing you. This is part of that." Liam's breath hitched. He was sitting in the library, unable to focus on a single word. Julian's directness was disarming. Later, in the cafeteria, a video call from Julian came through. He was in a hotel room, his tie loosened but his hair perfectly styled. Liam, in contrast, looked like a wreck, with his glasses and limp hair. Julian asked to see his food, chicken and stir-fried tomatoes. As he was showing him, two figures stopped at his table. It was his old roommates from freshman year. Emboldened by their impending graduation, they spoke freely. One sneered that Liam had really hit the jackpot, moving from being Ethan's lapdog to his brother's boy toy. The other added that he must have some special talent to serve both brothers. Liam's stomach tightened. He wondered how they knew. On the other end of the call, Julian's face had hardened. He asked Liam to let him speak to them. Liam shook his head and took out his earbuds. "What, jealous?" Liam asked them coolly. "I'll give you a chance to earn some money, too. Let me beat you to a pulp, and I'll pay you 3 times your medical bills." Their faces changed. They started shouting, calling him shameless, accusing him of selling his body. A crowd began to gather, phones raised. After they had exhausted their insults, Liam held up his phone, where Julian's grim face was still visible. He asked loudly, "Julian, you heard all that, right?" "I did," Julian's voice replied, clear and cold. "Does that count as slander?" "I say it does," Liam declared. "They can expect to hear from my lawyer." He then announced to the onlookers that he would pay $1,000 for any video footage of the incident to be used as evidence for the police. The two bullies paled and quickly backpedaled. The matter was resolved with a videotaped, named apology posted to the campus confessions page. They admitted that Evan had found them and paid them for information about Liam, feeding them the story that Liam was being kept by Julian. That evening, Julian was home. He had cut his trip short. He walked in, still in his travel clothes, and came straight to Liam. "I'm sorry," he said. Liam was taken aback. Julian explained that he hadn't been careful enough and had allowed people from his world to disrupt Liam's life. He said it was his responsibility. Liam, uncomfortable with the formality, insisted it wasn't his fault. Julian countered that while he would deal with Evan by cutting all business ties, that was a punishment, not compensation for Liam. Sensing an opportunity, Liam asked what kind of compensation he had in mind. "If you're willing," Julian said, his gaze unwavering, "I want to be your real boyfriend, to take care of you in every way I can." Liam was a little disappointed. He'd been hoping for debt forgiveness. But this was a chance to clear the air. He told Julian honestly that he'd never been in a relationship and wasn't even sure about his own feelings. All he knew was that he wasn't repulsed by Julian. But with his exams looming, he didn't have the energy for a relationship. Julian's expression was hard to read. He said he understood about the limits of a person's energy. Relieved, Liam suggested they try dating first, to see how things went before making any commitments. A wave of relief washed over Julian's face. "That's wonderful," he breathed. He explained he had been afraid the incident would turn Liam against him. Then, he stepped closer, the familiar sandalwood scent enveloping Liam.
"Kan Yukio?"
he asked, as a test, to see if you feel repulsed. The atmosphere was charged. Liam didn't say yes, but he didn't say no. Julian took that as consent and wrapped his arms around him. Liam's heart hammered against his ribs. At that moment, the front door, which Julian had left ajar, swung open. Ethan walked in holding 2 boxes of takeout. "Liam, you want some of this?" "Whoa!" He froze, his jaw dropping at the sight of them embracing in the living room. Liam scrambled to push Julian away. Julian, however, simply turned a cold glare on his brother. Didn't you say you wanted to get back together with your ex-girlfriend? What city did you say she lived in again? Liam had worried that dating would interfere with his studies, but he'd forgotten that his dating partner was the CEO of a massive corporation. Julian was far busier than he was. Most of their dates took place at home, in the mansion's movie theater or game room. This had its pros and cons. The biggest con was that it gave Julian ample opportunity to be a scoundrel. He'd invented a system of debt reduction, a kiss for $500, a hug for $200. By Liam's calculations, the debt had been cleared weeks ago, and Julian now owed him several $1,000s. Sometimes, while they were watching a movie on the sofa, Julian's hand would wander to places it shouldn't. Right now, his fingers were idly tracing patterns on Liam's waist. "Julian, that tickles," Liam protested, trying to sit up straight. But Julian was persistent. "You have to get used to it," he murmured. "You said you're not repulsed. You might even learn to like it. Besides, you and Ethan used to help each other in the shower. I'm just touching your waist." He was bringing up that old story again. Liam retorted that it wasn't the same thing at all. "How is it different?" "I don't like him." The words were out before he could stop them. Julian tilted his head, a sly smile spreading across his face. "So you admit you like me, then?" "I said no such thing." Julian captured his hand, lacing their fingers together. "Did you two ever hold hands like this?" "No." He leaned in and pressed a quick, soft kiss to Liam's cheek. "Like this?" "No." "Stop it, you're so annoying." Just as Liam was about to lose his temper, Julian swiftly wrapped an arm around his waist, pinning him against the corner of the sofa. "But you have slept in the same bed," he whispered. "Ethan told me about that time you were both too drunk to make it to your own rooms. You and I, however, have not. Have we progressed to the point where you don't even bother with subtlety anymore?" Liam gasped. Julian chuckled, a low, rumbling sound. "This isn't being a scoundrel. This is just an experiment. What if you're repulsed by sleeping next to me? We have to confirm these things before we make it official." The logic was twisted, but it had a sliver of sense to it. "Fine," Liam conceded. "Can you promise it will just be sleeping? Nothing else?" Julian's smile deepened. "I can promise not to do anything, but I can't promise that nothing will happen." It took Liam's brain a second to parse the meaning. "You pervert. I'm not sleeping with you. In your dreams." The next thing he knew, he was being hoisted over Julian's shoulder. "Since you've already called me a pervert," Julian said, his voice laced with amusement as he started toward the stairs, "I feel obligated to live up to the title."